The anime begins at the Ortigia Royal Academy of Magic. Alto Goldfield gets terrible news. He failed his summoning exam. If he can't summon a familiar by the next day, he will have to repeat the year. Upset, he talks to his childhood friend, Lilia Cuddlefate. Lilia, who is very good at other subjects, is shocked. Alto promises to try one last time and goes to the library for help. There, an old book falls on his head. Alto follows the book's instructions and uses his blood for the summoning ritual. Magic fills the air, and a demoness named Vermeil appears. They seal their contract with a kiss, but Alto resists Vermeil's attempts to seduce him. Alto wonders why Vermeil is so loyal, considering the bad history between demons and humans. Vermeil explains that she was trapped in the book for centuries and is grateful for her freedom. The next day, Alto introduces Vermeil to his teacher. Vermeil hides her horns and tail to look human. The teacher is doubtful because humans don't usually have familiars. But Vermeil shows her familiar crest, and the teacher accepts her in the class. Lilia, watching from afar, is jealous of Vermeil's attention to Alto. The teacher scolds them for being too close, but Vermeil defends it, saying the school teaches unity with one's familiar. The teacher is left speechless, and Lilia is unhappy. After class, Lilia confronts Alto. She dislikes Vermeil and challenges him. If Lilia wins, Vermeil must stay away from Alto. If Alto wins, Lilia must follow one of his commands. They duel on a sky platform with the whole school watching. Lilia summons her powerful wind spirit, Sylphid, and attacks Alto. Vermeil protects Alto and casts a spell that overwhelms Lilia, making her lose. Alto wins and tells Lilia to be friends with Vermeil. Later, Vermeil tells Alto that Lilia has romantic feelings for him, but he doesn't believe it. Vermeil needs mana and kisses him, saying it's necessary for her survival. Though she hints at other ways to get mana, Alto decides kisses are enough. As they walk to school, Alto tells Vermeil to stay unnoticed because people are staring at them. Suddenly, a dragon appears, but Vermeil stops it easily, throwing it far away. Alto scolds her for drawing attention. In their second year, the headmaster welcomes the students, and Alto focuses on his classes. Lilia is still upset about Vermeil being close to Alto. After school, Lilia joins Alto and Vermeil on their way home, watching them closely. Two students then confront them for revenge because Vermeil defeated their dragon. Alto traps them in a crystal prison, but Rex, the older brother, breaks free with his dinosaur familiar. Using Vermeil's mana, Alto defeats Rex with a strong crystal magic attack. At home, Vermeil asks Alto about his goals. She offers him wealth, but Alto says he wants to become a great mage, reaching the high rank of platinum. Vermeil supports him, and Alto promises to follow his dream with her help. The next day, they meet their friends Marcus and Cheryl. Marcus, impressed by Alto's victory over a senior student, sees him as a strong rival. Their teacher calls them to the headmaster's office, where they learn about a chance to become the student representative. They must retrieve a fairy flower from the forest. Marcus and his familiar Francois go ahead, but get trapped by a man-eating plant. Cheryl stays to help him. The group continues their search for the flower and sees it on a mountain, guarded by a sleeping Cerberus. Lilia plans to sneak past it using an invisibility potion. Alto worries about the Cerberus's sense of smell, but Lilia reassures him, mentioning it's cold. Although shy about undressing for the potion's partial effect, Lilia goes ahead. As she nears the Cerberus, Alto remembers the importance of the competition. Vermeil offers to fight the Cerberus, but asks for more mana from Alto. Lilia's stealth fails, and the Cerberus notices her. Alto distracts the beast, urging Lilia to get the flower. As the Cerberus charges, Vermeil uses her demonic powers to protect them. Amid the chaos, Lilia grabs the flower but drops it out of embarrassment. Cheryl catches the flower, and she is declared the winner. Everyone congratulates her. On their way to school, Vermeil enjoys her first crepe, having missed out on modern food while sealed away for centuries. As a group of dragons flies by, led by Chris, the students admire her skill. Alto explains that Chris is the leader of the Dragon Riders and a gold-ranked student. Curious about reaching such heights, Alto thinks about the student council president, who is close to platinum rank. This sparks a quarrel between Lilia and Vermeil over Alto's attention. After class, Lilia complains about Vermeil to Cheryl in the changing room. She doubts Vermeil's true nature, especially after seeing her easily defeat the Cerberus, a challenge even for a gold-ranked mage. Lilia decides to uncover Vermeil's secrets. Cheryl notices Lilia's growing feelings for Alto, making Lilia blush. Encouraged by Cheryl, Lilia considers confessing to Alto. Meanwhile, in the boys' changing room, Vermeil causes a commotion by following Alto, embarrassing him in front of the other boys. Lilia, jealous of Vermeil's closeness to Alto, is angry. Alto asks them to stay low-key to avoid trouble with the student council, but Vermeil insists on helping Alto reach gold rank. They meet the student council, and Chris looks at Vermeil with suspicion. Later, Vermeil sneaks into Alto's shower, trying to seduce him again. Chris confronts Rex about his defeat by Alto and expels him from the Dragon Riders, humiliating him. When Alto hears about Rex, he visits him in the infirmary but is blamed by Rex's brother. Realizing the seriousness, Alto prepares to duel Chris with Vermeil's help. Despite Chris giving him a chance to back down, Alto stands firm. Chris summons her powerful dragon familiar, and Vermeil boosts Alto's mana. With Lilia watching in fear, Alto attacks with crystals, impressing Chris. She counters easily, but Vermeil blocks her magic. After the flames fade, Vermeil is hurt but mostly okay. Chris fires more fireballs, which Vermeil deflects before falling. Alto attacks again with crystals, but Chris shatters them. Chris admires Alto's strength and Vermeil's endurance. Vermeil gives Alto more power, allowing him to launch a huge crystal attack. After the explosion, Chris rides her dragon, claiming dragon superiority. She rains fireballs on them, but Vermeil shields Alto, urging him to recharge his mana. Determined to prove Chris wrong, Vermeil boosts Alto for another crystal attack. Though Chris breaks it, she loses sight of Alto. Using crystal shards, Vermeil moves towards Chris, surprising her as Alto holds a crystal to her throat, winning the duel. The students cheer, and Alto enjoys his new popularity, much to Lilia's frustration. Professor Obsidian appears and scolds Alto for taking duels lightly, but he also congratulates him on his victory. Many girls gather around Professor Obsidian, and Alto jokes with Lilia about her feelings for him, making her angry. Chris and Rex make up, with Chris apologizing for her past actions and offering to do chores. Rex takes over the chores, and they reconcile. That evening, Vermeil tries to seduce Alto again, but he says kissing should be for people in love. Vermeil then confesses her love for him, leaving Alto surprised. The next day, Alto is worried and keeps thinking about Vermeil's confession. He asks Professor Obsidian if demons can love humans, but the professor says demons only care about humans for their mana. At dinner, Alto directly asks Vermeil if she only loves him for his mana. Vermeil reassures him and kisses him without taking his mana, encouraging him to kiss back. Alto hesitates but feels better after talking to Vermeil. He later apologizes to Professor Obsidian for his strange question, and the professor is glad Alto feels better. In a secret meeting, Professor Obsidian talks to a female student who confesses her love for him, unaware he has a sinister syringe. Later, the girl is found frozen in her room, leading to rumors at the academy. She is rescued but remains in a coma, prompting the student council to investigate. Vice President Ryuga Shinoji and Executive Jessica Schwartz note this is the third such incident. In class, Alto measures Vermeil for an assignment about their familiars. Vermeil undresses, and Lilia's familiar spies on them, making Lilia furious. Using an invisibility potion and a copy of Alto's key, Lilia sneaks into the boys' dormitory. She enters Alto's room but is surprised when Alto suddenly appears. Alto doesn't notice her and finishes his report, noting Vermeil's love for crepes. Vermeil adds Alto's name to the list, showing their growing bond. Meanwhile, Chris and her dragon are defeated by Rex and his transformed dinosaur, which seems to be influenced by dark magic. A flashback shows Rex's first encounter with his familiar as an egg, a joyful moment that created a bond with young Chris. In the present, Alto and Vermeil go grocery shopping. Vermeil wants sweets, but Alto reminds her they have a tight budget. Frustrated, Vermeil throws a tantrum. Alto gives in and buys her a dessert, making her happy. She kisses him in public, which embarrasses Alto. Vermeil doesn't understand why he's embarrassed since she didn't take his mana. Their moment is cut short when Rex's brother arrives, asking for their help. At the academy, Rex attacks Chris relentlessly. She tries to fight back with fireballs, causing a big explosion, but Rex is unharmed and transforms grotesquely. He throws rocks at Chris, sending her flying and taunting her. Alto and Vermeil step in, asking Rex to let Chris go. Rex ignores them and attacks Alto, seeking revenge. The situation is tense, and Alto and Vermeil prepare for a fight, sensing a familiar energy in Rex's power. The student council president, Elena Kimberlite, arrives with her sword-wielding familiar. She quickly defeats Rex and his mutated familiar, restoring order. Chris is shaken by her defeat, and Vermeil is curious about Rex's power but denies knowing anything to Elena. During the student council meeting, they discuss the increasing number of incidents, now 5 in total. They suspect drugs or dark magic might be involved. Chris can't handle the report and leaves the meeting. Jessica, puzzled by Chris's attachment to Rex, shows her disapproval of anyone interfering with what she considers hers. Alto and Lilia get notified about their upcoming bronze rank exam. Lilia emphasizes the exam's importance despite Alto's distraction. Vermeil, feeling tired, says she will return to the dorm, worrying Alto about her recent behavior after their encounter with Rex. Lilia uses this chance to be alone with Alto, pretending they need to study. On her way back to the dorm, Vermeil meets Professor Obsidian. Their conversation is short, and the professor is surprised to see her alone. Vermeil accuses him of being involved in the recent incidents, noting the scent of low-tier demons coming from him. Though Professor Obsidian pretends not to know, Vermeil's sharp senses make it clear. She warns him that his actions are dangerous and tells him to stop using such power. Ignoring his threats, Vermeil walks away, warning him to stay away from Alto. As she leaves, a paper doll floats by, hinting at something bad. Suddenly, Professor Obsidian reappears and injects Vermeil with a mysterious substance. Despite her struggle, Vermeil feels intense pain as dark energy surrounds her. Professor Obsidian looks forward to what will happen next. While Alto and Lilia are studying, Lilia tries to get closer to Alto. Suddenly, Alto feels a sharp pain in his hand, which starts glowing. An explosion outside signals that Vermeil is in trouble. Alto senses her distress and rushes to help. The students see dark energy in the sky, creating a sense of doom. Elena, noticing the disturbance, goes to investigate and finds a paper doll. When she cuts it, the pieces multiply into a creature that blocks her path. Despite her efforts, the creature keeps regenerating. Meanwhile, Vermeil transforms into a powerful winged demon. Professor Obsidian watches, pleased with his work. Vermeil, now controlled by him, releases a strong energy wave, surprising even the professor. He uses his magic to chain Vermeil, showing his control. When Alto and Lilia arrive, they see Vermeil kneeling before Professor Obsidian. Shocked by the professor's true plan, to turn people into demons using demon essence, Alto and Lilia are horrified. Fearing for Vermeil, Alto becomes very angry and sends energy towards her. Vermeil breaks free and attacks Professor Obsidian, but accidentally injures Alto with her claws. As Alto bleeds, Vermeil remembers her lonely past and their first meeting. As Alto falls, Vermeil becomes even fiercer and attacks Professor Obsidian again, but Alto stops her. His comforting words make her cry, and she changes back to her original form. Alto collapses, and Lilia is horrified. Vermeil kisses Alto, healing his wound. Overwhelmed by the turn of events, Professor Obsidian injects himself with his own substance. Transformed into a grotesque demon, Professor Obsidian brags about his creation made from many lower demons. He tries to destroy Vermeil and take her power, attacking with a drill-like move. Vermeil fights back and cuts him in half with one hit. Shocked by her strength, Obsidian tries to escape. Chris and her dragon stop him, giving Vermeil the chance to finish him off for good. Alto wakes up to see Lilia crying with relief. The enemy that Elena was fighting retreats, promising to return. Vermeil apologizes to Alto for almost causing his death, but Alto thanks her for healing him. Vermeil then reveals a harsh truth. To heal him, she replaced his heart with the demons, tying their fates together. Alto understands that her immortality is now linked to his life. With Professor Obsidian defeated, Rex wakes up from his coma with Chris by his side, and the other students also recover. Later, Alto and Vermeil share a tender kiss, their bond now tied by Vermeil's mana sustaining Alto's demon heart. However, Vermeil starts acting distant. Alto confronts her, and she insists her true self is monstrous, urging him to stay away. Alto refuses, pledging his commitment with another kiss. Vermeil, flustered, struggles with Alto's declaration of love, leading him to leave quickly. Vermeil reflects on Alto's words about the meaning of kisses and realizes the depth of his feelings. The next day at school, both girls and boys are sad about Professor Obsidian's absence, but they miss Vermeil more. Alto tells the boys that Vermeil is feeling unwell. Lilia talks to Vermeil about being a demon. Vermeil feels sorry for deceiving Alto and causing him harm. Lilia comforts her, believing Vermeil truly cares for Alto and trusts Alto to handle her if needed. Back in Alto's room, Vermeil apologizes again, and Alto is relieved she's better. They reconcile with a kiss. The next day, Vermeil gets a school uniform, though it doesn't fit well. Alto is initially flustered, but happy to have Vermeil back in class. Elsewhere, in a church filled with sorrow, Heliodol, a platinum-level witch, talks to Iolite, a former platinum warlock, through a paper doll. They discuss Professor Obsidian's failure, but Iolite finds his research interesting. A priest confronts them, but is quickly stopped by a centaur familiar. Back at school, Vermeil's new appearance catches the boys' attention, who praise Alto for her return. Suddenly, the student council interrupts the class and takes Alto and Vermeil into custody. Worried, Alto asks why they are detained. Elena, feeling guilty for not being there during the fight with Professor Obsidian, seeks their help to learn more about the incident. Though Professor Obsidian has escaped, she trusts Alto to cooperate. With a knife at his throat, Alto reveals Vermeil's true identity and their linked fates. Shocked, the council debates whether Vermeil is dangerous. Jessica is doubtful, but Elena trusts Alto's judgment and promises to keep his secret, saying she can handle Alto if Vermeil becomes a threat. Elena invites Alto to join the student council, noting his win over Chris. Alto accepts Elena's invitation, surprising his friends. Marcus is proud, and Lilia congratulates him. However, Alto worries because more people now know about Vermeil's true nature. Determined to protect her, he decides to get stronger. Vermeil warns him to be careful with the student council and is suspicious about Elena's humanity. The next day, Alto goes to his first council meeting and accidentally walks in on the girls changing. Jessica panics, but Elena laughs it off, blaming the unlocked door. During the meeting, Elena shows a piece of the creature from their battle. Chris is curious, but Elena explains that even gold-level mages couldn't figure out its complex magic, suggesting it's from a platinum-level enemy. Meanwhile, Iolite and Heliodol meet with Kohakumiya, who created the creature. They give her demon parts and talk about their tough mission, mentioning a fight with the high priest. Kohakumiya asks about recruiting the priest and learns he is dead. Unhappy, she says goodbye to Iolite, who then reveals their next targets, Alto and Vermeil. Alto dreams of a young Vermeil crying in a ruined city. A mysterious woman appears and gives him a tough choice, save humanity or protect Vermeil. He wakes up, troubled by the vision. As he prepares for his upcoming bronze exam, anxiety grows, made worse by the council's expectations, especially Chris's watchful eyes. Despite Vermeil's efforts to comfort him, Alto feels the pressure. But her kiss and mana boost give him a bit of hope. On the day of the exam, Alto gathers his things and finds the book that once trapped Vermeil. Thinking about its meaning and the woman from his dream, he rushes to join his friends. Lilia's enthusiastic support lifts his spirits as they head to the exam location. Their academy is known for its high success rate compared to other schools. In the exam hall, there is a large crystal orb with a flickering flame. The task is to add their mana to the flame. It seems simple, but Alto suspects it's more complicated. Students take turns, with some succeeding and others failing, each attempt met with different reactions. Lilia impresses everyone, but another student's skills overshadow her. Cheryl and Marcus barely pass. Finally, it's Alto and Vermeil's turn. Alto notices that the crystal works better when mana is supplied from a specific angle. The examiner praises Alto's understanding of magic. Encouraged by Vermeil, Alto decides to show his skill by choosing the hardest position to channel mana. He pours his mana into the crystal, causing the flame to grow into a silver blaze. The examiners are shocked as the flame expands, making the crystal explode. Despite being worried at first, Alto is thrilled to learn he performed perfectly. His peers and the examiner are amazed by his outstanding achievement. During lunch, Alto feels nervous about the upcoming written exam. Marcus shows off his unusual tool, a hexagonal pencil, claiming it's his secret to getting into the academy. Lilia asks about perfect scores, and Cheryl explains that they are very rare. Encouraged by Vermeil, Alto gets ready, but Vermeil's mana infusion nearly makes him late. On his way to the exam, Alto meets a rude student from a rival school in the restroom. The student complains about Alto's good performance in the practical test. Suddenly, Iolite appears behind the student, scaring him. When the student tries to leave, Iolite kills him and steals his test ticket to enter the exam. Alto arrives just in time and says goodbye to Vermeil, who can't enter because familiars are not allowed. Inside, Alto sits next to Iolite, who wishes him luck. Vermeil waits outside, confident in Alto's abilities despite the tough exam. As the test begins, Alto is distracted by Iolite, who falls asleep. Struggling with the hard questions, Alto is surprised when Iolite wakes up and quickly finishes the test, mocking Alto's slow pace. Their talking gets them in trouble, but Iolite doesn't care and says it's pointless for anyone to succeed. Chaos ensues when a guard reports finding the dead student. Iolite's true identity is revealed, and he summons a giant stone golem. He reveals his goal is to capture Alto and confirms he works with Professor Obsidian. Vermeil tries to fight, but is blocked by the golem's strong defense. The examiner recognizes Iolite as a very powerful mage. As the situation worsens, Lilia is forced to leave, but she tries to come back and help Alto. However, Heliodol creates a barrier to stop anyone from interfering. Iolite conjures a staff and upgrades his golem with multiple cannons. Despite Alto's efforts to fight back, the golem resists and attacks, causing massive destruction and trapping Vermeil. Angered, Alto's golden mana glows brightly, leading to a powerful attack that destroys the golem. His power grows, turning him into a strong force determined to protect Vermeil. Iolite, excited, summons more golems, but Alto easily defeats them. As Alto charges at him, Iolite stabs him with a knife. Iolite reveals his plan to use Vermeil's demonic energy to destroy the world. Even though Alto is repeatedly knocked down, he keeps fighting. Iolite then uses dark magic to seal Vermeil's powers, making her human again. Alto continues to confront Iolite, who attacks with a powerful blast from his golem. Just before the blast hits, the book containing Vermeil's essence rises, revealing the spirit from Alto's dream. She claims to be the ancient mage who sealed Vermeil. Despite Iolite's attacks, she freezes time and transports Alto into Vermeil's memories, showing her happy childhood from centuries ago. The ancient mage narrates Vermeil's upbringing in a church with a nun and other orphans, forming a loving family. Even though they knew she was a demon, they accepted her. However, when the townspeople blamed Vermeil for a plague, they attacked the church. Vermeil's sister told her to run, but Vermeil returned to find her family harmed. In her grief and anger, Vermeil transformed into her demonic form, destroying the town and leaving only a crater behind. Alto, seeing this, is shaken by Vermeil's past actions. In Vermeil's memories, Alto comforts her, making her transform into her adult self. Vermeil feels her actions are unforgivable, but Alto reassures her of his love and support. They kiss, breaking the chains holding her, symbolizing her freedom from Iolite's control. Alto's love surprises Iolite, who underestimated Vermeil's strength. Iolite summons another golem and taunts Vermeil, saying she is meant for destruction. Alto and Vermeil combine their powers and launch a massive crystal attack, destroying the golem completely. Taken aback by their resilience, Iolite becomes more serious. As he prepares his magic, Heliodol appears through a portal, warning that the space warp is about to collapse. Disappointed but accepting, Iolite retreats, promising to return one day to settle things. With a final threat, he vanishes through the portal. The mysterious mage reappears, surprising Alto. She calls Vermeil a dear friend and asks Alto to take care of her. After restoring the damaged area, She says goodbye and disappears, leaving Alto to be greeted by a relieved Lilia. Afterward, Alto focuses on improving his skills to protect Vermeil. He practices fencing with Jessica and trains in martial arts with Chris, though he loses both times, but he remains determined. Under the night sky, Vermeil thanks Alto for accepting her and confesses her love. Filled with joy, they embrace. At a serious student council meeting, Elena emphasizes the need for unity against future threats, recognizing the challenge posed by platinum-ranked mages. They all agree to protect their peers. As everyone celebrates their successful test results, Lilia grows suspicious of Alto's absence, thinking he is spending time with Vermeil. Meanwhile, Alto and Vermeil openly show their affection and commitment to protecting each other, their bond stronger than ever. And so, this story ends. So the moral of the story is, if you fail an exam, just summon a demon, make new friends, and kick some serious magical butt, all while figuring out your love life. Because why not?